In this segment, we're going to do a stainless steel grill cabinet door. This is basically your run-of-the-mill bottom end to middle end stainless steel grill part. Okay, you see a lot of these in the big box stores. So you got a lot of surface rust, not so much pitting on this door, which is always a good thing, because once it pits, it's going to stay pitted. So we'll again take our Scotch-Brite 961 handle, wrap it up, and I'm going to turn it this way because it's easier to go with the grain this way than get out in front of you. Apply it again, get a generous amount on there. Now another tip to do in exterior stainless steel polishing, I'm going to reach down here, is grab your preservative. If it's hot or the grill is still warm, but you have it completely disconnected, the fuel line to the grill, always to be safe, is you could add a little bit of the preservative together with it. And that way your metal polish won't dry in the hot sun, because the metal polish will dry quickly. So just inundate that with a little bit of preservative. Both products can be mixed. You can even actually mix them in the same bottle if you have a lot of this stuff to do. And that's up to your decision how rusty the grill is. You could do a 50-50 mix, or you could go ahead and do, you know, a quarter of metal polish and 3/4 preservative if it's not in that bad a shape. You're just going ahead and cleaning it up in between on a kind of like a routine polish. But the more the metal polish, the better when it comes to something that's been neglected and has been out in the elements. In turn, you know what they say, you get what you pay for. So if you're looking at a long-term outside piece, stainless grill, outside kitchen, look for a 304 grade stainless. And if you could get your hands on 316L, it's definitely worth the extra price you pay for it, because all these exposed pores open up. And once they open up, depending on what you attack them with and the elements, those pores get bigger and they start rusting out over time. Okay, so here again, I got about this much preservative in there from the pores before. And just to recap, we take a clean cloth, and only a clean cloth goes in there and dipped once. That way, if you need to go ahead and pour your leftover preservative back in the bottle, you have a chemically pure, clear liquid that's not inundated with all the rust and the metal polish residue that we're wiping off right now. This technique is the same, as I said before, that you do on any stainless steel refrigerator panel, oven panel, outside grill. Once you get it to the point you want it, and you're happy with the appearance of that stainless, you just wipe it off and you forget about it. As long as everything comes off that rag, as clean as that rag was when you dipped it in, you have no worries. Ironically, this was one I did not prep. Here we go. That's just a quick overview. If it was my piece of stainless steel, I'd put a little more time into it. But you can see the drastic results just from a quick little bit of love to that piece. And that's how we do every stainless steel piece, whether it's interior or exterior. And that concludes this segment. We have plenty more to come in the future on how to repair stainless steel that has been inundated with Scotch-Brite scratches, swirl marks, as well as stripping clear coats, and so forth. So just be aware that we do have more things to offer you that you can do on your own without having to hire somebody like us in order to do so. All right, thank you for watching and have a great day. See you next time. Okay, in the last segment, we ended with this door right here in particular. It had some watermarks, and like I stated before, it wasn't but just a quick job, and if it was mine, we'd spend a little more time on it. So, this is in fact what we do to eliminate those wet marks. We take a dry Scotch-Brite, standard green kitchen Scotch-Brite, put it on our twist lock, and very carefully, we go straight with the grain. This is where we don't like to show people that are inexperienced, which is almost basically everybody out there. So before you go ahead and do something like this on a real expensive stainless steel appliance or hood or whatever it is that you're trying to go ahead and clean, get another scrap piece and practice diligently, because this is very important. You can't go ahead and use it like a rag, you can't twist it like a rag. Everything has to be perpendicular with that grain. So when you start on one strip, you finish on one strip. Take it off the substrate, put it down again, and stay on a line, just like a straight railroad track. You got both of them, they're parallel to each other. They're spaced perfectly apart. That's the same exact metaphor I'm using when it comes to graining satin finished metals out. By doing this, we're almost resanding the actual substrate. This will also blend those pits in much more effectively than just the towel and the rag and the metal polish. So once you get it to that point where you're satisfied, and that's when you get up and you start looking in the light, you step back, you start looking at all angles. If you're happy with what you got, on all different refractions of light, like I said, step back, really take a good look. Make sure that your grain is perpendicular and it's straight. Your start and stop marks are controlled completely. It's basically like a body motion. It's not a wrist motion. It's you lock everything from your shoulder, elbow, wrist to hand. Everything moves in one motion. Your body moving forward, everything is together aligned. Generally, I like to do it with both hands and lock them. But if you have a piece that are moving, you do the best you can. After you get a grain to the point you are satisfied with, then come back with the same green Scotch-Brite. Take the metal polish to blend the dry Scotch-Brite that went previously. And spend a great deal of time working that metal polish with the Scotch-Brite. Same method, straight up and down. Just because you got liquid on there doesn't give you an excuse to go ahead and get wild on it. Otherwise, you'll be wiping the metal polish off and regraining again. And after you do that a few times and your arm's ready to fall off, you'll learn your lesson. So, we get it to that point, we come back to the same scenario of dipping our rag, fold it up into the clean preservative that sits in our clean bucket. Never put a dirty rag back in there, otherwise you will have dirty preservative. Wipe it. Rotate your rag, check for the edges, because that tends to pull dirt. So make sure those edges are covered. Because as soon as you hit an edge and wipe back again, if you have a clean top surface, it'll go ahead and work its way back into it. So always hit your edges. Don't overlook them. And don't take them for granted, because they can go ahead and gather a lot of residue from the prior steps that we just did. You can see that this rag is pretty inundated and filthy, but we got clean areas on the other side. And it's coming off perfectly clear. So we know that we got ourselves a finished product. Again, you can repeat these steps if you're not satisfied with the outcome, but generally that'll get most of the watermarks out. It'll also purge those pitted pores that are a little bit rusty, that are a little bit harder to get at with the rag. And voila, your exterior door is in better shape than just a quick metal polish and a rag.